Hello, I'm Theodore Parker, and this is the Sideshow. It's Monday, January 31st, 2022. Still advocating use of the mask, closer to February now, and President Biden's issuance of the N95s, 400 million of them coming up. Weather, chilly, cold. Over the weekend it did, quote unquote, warm up some, but presently 19 degrees, drum roll, and feels like 19 degrees, which is a big change considering that over the weekend 7 degrees feels like 0. Wintertime 2022. About to get into February. I had a couple of things I wanted to run past, let you know about, let you hear about, those of you in the viewing and listening audience. So I'm just going to kind of like hit the high points, give it a little fill in. Since we're starting Monday and it is the last day of the month of January, first month of 2022. So, U.S. pushes for talks with North Korea after latest missile launch. On Sunday, all the time that this business has been going on with the Ukraine, North Korea has been suddenly launching missile tests and things of this nature. So Sunday, North Korea launched a missile that had the capabilities of reaching Guam. So those of you who are not familiar, Guam is a part of U.S. territory. Feds, woman from the U.S. led all-female Islamic State battalion. Usually we hear the word squad, but this woman, 42 years old, I think from Virginia, was arrested in Syria for terrorist activities related to AK-47 wielding full battalion of women. So she's now facing trial. Underdogs grab Super Bowl 51 spotlight. The Super Bowl features 2 number 4 seeds, which makes it its lowest seeded Super Bowl matchup since playoff seeding began in Super Bowl 10. Saw them games. I'm telling you, sports in general, NBA and football in particular, the last 2 minutes, tied score, have been something to watch. So even if you are not a football fan, it has been exciting. Super Bowl. Chesley Chris, former USA and extra correspondent, dies at 30. U.S. prosecutors reach hate crime plea deals and Armin Ambare's murder court filings. So it seems that the Georgia state where Armand Ambre was killed by father, son, and a neighbor. The father and son are about to or have filed a plea that would involve them serving 30 years if they plead guilty to what they did being a hate crime. Trial to resume for cops accused of violating Floyd's rights. So the 3 cops that were pinning George Floyd's body to the ground while the other cop nailed on his neck are now in trial. And it is considered to be a federal trial. Detective involved in Lauren Smithfield's case suspended. This was an incident that occurred, just to fill in a few details. This young lady was on a date with, she's black, 23 years old, was on a date with a white man. And from one of the dating services or apps or whatever. So her family, as all families do, stay in contact, check in, and if we don't hear from you, we're going to come see what's going on. All fair and good. But in this case, the young lady's body was discovered. There had been alcohol and various other kind of drugs involved, including fentanyl, by the police, and her body had been taken away. So where, the hairs rise on the back of your neck is that the officer left a note on the door: if you are looking for Smith Fields, call this number. Now, all of us down to the single person feel that if law enforcement is involved and has knowledge of the death of a person, then they are to reach out to a family member. This officer didn't do that. So his comment was that they had her passport and her ID, so he didn't feel it was necessary to contact the family. So he's been suspended. There's much more to mindfulness than the popular media. I myself, if you would watch the program, for more than one occasion, a sideshow, know that I recommend exercise and being active as much as you can do, but do something. So mindfulness is a part of that, connected to Tai Chi. And to make a long story short, it's also been adapted by the medical field in certain circumstances for certain patients. Example, if you've been sitting for a while or whatever, and the common expression is take a deep breath and calm down, or just take a deep breath, or you will naturally take a deep breath. Okay, that being said, Tai Chi and Qigong work in a specified way to encourage that deep breathing, which settles the thinking and enhances the operation of the body and its organs. Okay, I'm certified to teach mindfulness in the form of Tai Chi and Qigong. I haven't because I like to check in with my instructor. I can still reach him email or phone. And he, in turn, was in touch with his instructor with personal appointments to make sure the information is accurate as it is being passed on, which is what I hold to. And plus my notes and other information is in another city in storage. So I don't want to really trust something that important to just my memory. So here's the thing. Exercise, be careful. If you can find a Tai Chi class, which most martial arts schools do teach, just remember it is a paying activity, and more important, you should keep to the schedule. Mindfulness. Trump ridiculed for stunning admission about what he wanted from Pence on January 6th. Now here's something that kind of cleared the air for me. I'm, just like the public, always exposed to some comment by Trump that just seems to be to the moon, and I have no understanding of it. So here's a little bit more of a fill-in on that, because there was some basis for it, and most politicians, by reference, are also lawyers, because they are dealing with the law. All this kind of came out, various exchanges on comments on Twitter. Now you know. George Conway on Twitter. The answer is the 12th Amendment and the Electoral Count Act of 1887 already make